Welcome back to another episode of With a Grain of Salt. I am your host, Isaiah Salter, and I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in for yet another week. This week, we are going to be talking about how to navigate and overcome bad days, making mistakes, setbacks, things of that nature. Because I understand that in our journey of growth, our journey of healing, and our journey of trying to become the best versions of ourselves, one of the toughest things that people struggle with is when they make a mistake or when they have a bad day or they have a tough day or they do something that isn't aligned with where they're trying to go. It's hard to navigate that, right? Because we can fall into this trap of feeling like we need to do everything perfect on this journey of growing. And if we're not doing things that are aligning with our growth, then we're not growing. We're doing something wrong. We're taking steps back. We're going in the wrong direction, right? And that can cause a lot of shame. That can cause guilt. That can cause us judging ourselves, right? And so I think it's important for us to kind of talk over how to navigate these days or these times that we have and just to shift our perspective on it to help us to handle these things differently, right? To start off, the first thing you need to do in order to start navigating bad days and making mistakes in a more healthy and aligned way is you need to start accepting imperfection. You need to understand that as a human being, imperfection is inherent, right? So you are going to make mistakes. You are going to have days that are worse than others. You are going to have times where you don't make the right decision all the time, right? And being able to accept that as a part of the journey allows you to move through it gracefully and grow from it rather than feeling like it is a roadblock or it's there to stop you from moving forward, right? There is so much to learn in making mistakes. There's so much to learn in messing up or having bad days, right? And the reason why I wanted to touch on this topic was because to be open and vulnerable with you guys yesterday, which was Sunday, this past weekend, I felt like I had a pretty bad Sunday. I'm not going to lie, right? Obviously, we're grateful that we woke up. We're grateful that we had food. We're grateful that we had a bed to sleep in and things of that nature. But from a alignment standpoint, I didn't make all the right decisions, right? I didn't do everything that I had planned to do for that day, right? And for me, I realized that whenever I have bad days or I maybe make decisions that aren't always aligned, it always starts off in my morning, right? If I don't set that foundation, that strong foundation in the morning, a lot of times that can trickle over into the rest of the day. And that's what happened for me Sunday. You know, I slept in a little later than I wanted to. I didn't do my regular weekend morning routine. Right, I got off on the wrong foot a little bit. I was supposed to go for a run, didn't go for a run, decided to just stay in, be a little lazy, right? And I had some issues with the content on Saturday that I shot, and because of that, it created kind of this like anxious feeling, this uncomfortable feeling inside of myself, and that kind of bled over to my Sunday, right? I think the biggest thing is to understand that when you do have a bad day, when you do have times where you make mistakes, right? You don't do the desired thing or the aligned thing. You need to view it as an opportunity rather than a hindrance. You need to view it as an opportunity rather than an obstacle, right? Because it is an opportunity. There was so much growth and lessons in that day for me, and I'm grateful that I had the ability and the awareness to take a step back and to reflect on the day, to reflect on what led to me having a tough or bad day, or led me to making certain mistakes or doing certain things, right? And being able to reflect on it gives you the ability to find the lessons in it, find the areas where, that was why that is what happened that led to me doing this thing or whatever it was, right? And like I said, for me, it was that morning. I vividly remember when I woke up, it was like 9:45, and I was like, man, it's kind of late, right? And then you kind of just let that, because you feel bad for waking up, it's almost like in those decisions, you either have a choice to be like, all right, I'm going to get up and do whatever else I'm going to do, or man, like, I woke up late, and now you start to feel sorry for yourself, and because you feel sorry for yourself, it makes you sit there even longer, and then that leads to the next decision and the next decision, and it just trickles over, right? So one of the biggest things you need to do is to reframe the way you look at mistakes, to reframe the way you look at bad days, and understand that they are opportunities and they're a part of your growth, right? They're not the opposite of your growth. They're a part of your growth. A lot of people think that making mistakes or having setbacks or having bad days is the opposite of growing, but it's actually a part of your growth, right? Because when you have the right perspective of those things, you're able to find the opportunity in them. And because you have the perspective to find the opportunity in them, you find the lesson in them. And when you find that lesson, you're able to grow through it. You're able to grow from it, right? And it can help tremendously, right? One thing you have to do is you have to really sit yourself down and ask yourself, what can this day or this decision teach me? What can I learn from this, right? How can I grow from this situation? And right there, you're already putting a pause in you being so quick to judge yourself, criticize yourself, beat yourself up. No, you're taking the stance of, let me really try my best to reflect and find where I can learn from this situation, learn from this bad day, learn from this mistake, learn from this mess up, right? I know, especially as men, we have a lot of areas where we really try to be more disciplined in, what we eat, what we watch, what we do to ourselves, things of that nature, right? And I've realized one of the worst things you can do is try to guilt or shame yourself into growing or being better. It will not work. It will not work, right? And I know it's hard not to do that because we do want to be better. When you have a certain expectation for yourself, right, a certain vision for yourself, and you're not doing things that are aligned with that always, or you don't do something that's aligned with that, yes, it hurts. And yes, you feel like you let yourself down, right? But you have to understand that it's a process. It's a journey. So give yourself that grace, right? One of the best framings I like to take when it comes to my life is I like to view myself as I would a little kid trying to learn how to ride a bike, right? Every time that kid falls off the bike, you don't yell at them. You don't say, you're no good, you'll never be able to learn how to ride a bike. No, you help them up. You help them get back on the bike, and then you say, let's try again. Because you understand that in order for them to get to a place to where they can ride the bike fully by themselves without falling down, they have to fall down. It's a part of them learning how to ride the bike, right? And you're not so quick to judge them or beat them up or try to make them feel guilty or shame them. No, because that's not going to do them any good. And you understand it's a process of learning how to get back up, get on the bike, fall down, learn from the mistake, get back up and try again, right? And over time, because you've given yourself the grace to grow through it, you build momentum. And through the momentum, you get better and better and better at it, right? So that's how you have to view yourself. When it comes to your growth, when it comes to becoming the best version of yourself, when it comes to you changing certain things, you have to view it as a process, and you have to give yourself grace to grow through it and to go through that process. And part of the process is making mistakes. Part of the process is having bad days. Part of the process is having setbacks, right, and mess ups in the journey, right? And that's why awareness is so important. You have to be aware of when you do mess up or when you do have a bad day or you do make a mistake. You have to be aware of it so that you can catch yourself and reflect on it so you can learn from it and grow from it, right? Because then right there, it's not a hindrance. Then it's an opportunity and it's a lesson that helps push you even further, right? But a lot of times we make mistakes and we allow those mistakes to keep us stuck in that moment rather than growing from it so we can move past it and be where we are now, right? A lot of times if we make a mistake that happened yesterday, we're still allowing the residual effects of that to affect us in this moment right now rather than learning how to gracefully grow through it, learn from it, and move forward, right? You need to learn how to take responsibility without over-criticizing. This is huge. Own your actions, but don't beat yourself up. Acknowledge what went wrong, take responsibility, and be kind to yourself as you process it. You have to have self-accountability and take responsibility for your life. You have to. And you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be real with yourself, right? You do need a little bit of tough love from yourself sometimes. But at the same time, you have to do it from a place that doesn't feel like you're criticizing or judging yourself, right? And that takes time. That's why you have to give yourself grace, because all these things, to learn these things and to learn how to navigate these things and to grow from these things, they take time. And if you're not giving yourself grace, then you're not giving yourself enough time to learn how to process these things, right? But there is a fine line between making excuses for yourself, right? Always trying to find a loophole, right? and beating yourself up way too much. There's a fine line between that, because no, you don't want to make excuses and you do want to hold yourself accountable, but you don't want to be, you just don't want to beat yourself up, to keep it that quite frank. You know what I mean? You want to hold yourself accountable without beating yourself up. And there is a way to do that. And it's by building the relationship you have with yourself. Think about it like this, right? Think about it like this. I'm a life coach, or I'm going to try to give you guys this frame of mind. I'm a life coach. Right now, I specifically work with the youth, so middle and high school kids. One of the biggest things that you will learn when you're working with kids is that if you want to be able to gain their trust, right, and have them actually listen to you and be able to give them constructive criticism and advice, you have to build the relationship with them first. Because if you just come at them trying to tell them what they need to do and give them advice and speak from a place of authority without ever having any relationship built, they're going to take it as disrespect. They're going to take it as you're yelling at them or coming at them, right? And their walls are going to immediately go up. It's the same with yourself. You have to work on the relationship you have with yourself so that when you do hold yourself accountable, it doesn't come from a place of ego, or it doesn't come from a place of where you feel like you're beating yourself up or judging yourself. No, it's coming from a place of, you know how much I love you, you know how much I care about you becoming the best version of yourself, so we got to be better, right? And you take it as that. You don't take it as, I'm no good, right? I'm never going to make the right decisions. Oh, this is just me. I can't, you know what I mean? No. So take responsibility and accountability without over criticizing, right? Without over criticizing. Be real, be honest with yourself. Keep it a G with yourself. Keep it a stack with yourself, right? But don't beat yourself up. We're not going to do that. We're not going to beat ourselves up. We're going to give ourselves grace, because nobody's perfect. Embrace the imperfection of life. Embrace your imperfections. Understand you are a human being, right? And to be means to make mistakes. To be means to have tough days. To be means to not always make the aligned decision. But you can learn from all that. You can grow from all of that. And that's the beauty in the journey. That's the beauty in this life. The fact that we get to experience everything, and everything has a lesson in it for us. Everything has something in it that can help us grow, right? Everything is an opportunity. There's an opportunity when you're doing everything right, and there's an opportunity when you're doing everything wrong. Find it, embrace it, and grow through it, right? Grow through it. This is a good one. Shift your focus to what you can control. This is huge. So often when we make a mistake or we mess up in a certain area, all of our energy goes to the mistake or the mess up, not to what we actually can control in the moment, right? So we're giving energy to things that we have no control over no more. You don't have any control over the mistake anymore. You already made it. You don't have any control over the bad decision. You already did it, right? But you do have control over your perspective on it. You do have control over the next step. You do have control over what you do in this moment. And that's where you need to take that energy that you're giving to the things that you don't have control over and put it. Because when you start doing that, it's going to allow you to move in a more aligned direction. It's going to allow you to grow from the mistake or the mess up or the bad day, right? Focus on actions and choices you can make right now to improve the situation or move forward. Let go of things outside of your control. And it's not easy to do that, right? I need y'all to understand. It isn't easy. It is simple, but it is not easy. Shout out to Higher Up Wellness. I love his podcast and his page on TikTok. He always says that. That's like his saying. It isn't easy, but it is simple, right? And it is, right? It is that simple. And you really need to work on letting go of things that are outside of your control. And how do you do that? Focus on the things that you can control more than you can't. And one of the best things that you can do is literally write down, like look at your whole day-to-day life and write down everything that you have control over. I can give you a few things right now. You have control over your attitude. You have control over your perspective. You have control over your mindset. You have control over what you say. You have control over the decision you make in this moment. And so focus your attention and your energy, right? Because where your attention goes, energy follows. So focus your attention and energy on the things that you can control. And what that's going to do is it's going to take the power and energy away from the things that you can't control. And that's what's going to allow you to let go of them, right? It's hard to let go of something that we keep giving energy to. It's very, very hard to let go of something that we keep giving energy and attention to, right? So if you want to let go of something, you need to learn how to take that energy and put it into something that is more rewarding, is more uplifting, is more aligned, right? Is more aligned. So that shifts your focus to what you can control. You need to learn how to talk to yourself the way you would a friend. You need to learn positive self-talk. Now, take this with a grain of salt, because just talking positive all the time is not going to fix your issues. It's not going to help you grow. You have to add action to what you say, right? But on the journey of acting out, you trying to become the best version of yourself, and when you do make mistakes, you are going to make mistakes. You are going to mess up. You are going to have bad days. You need to learn how to talk to yourself positively through those, right? I feel like I'm stuttering on my words today. I don't know what's going on. It's all right. It happens. You need to learn how to positively talk to yourself through those, right? How would you talk to a friend if they were going through what you were going through right now? That's one of the best frame of minds that I like to take, or perspectives I like to take when I'm dealing with certain things. Is I need to talk to myself the way I would a friend dealing with this same thing. If I wouldn't shame or guilt my friend, I don't need to do that with myself. If I wouldn't yell and try to demean my friend, I don't need to do that with myself. If I wouldn't belittle my friend, I don't need to do that with myself. Right? That's the framing you need to take when it comes to how you talk to yourself through mistakes and through mess ups. And you need to understand, making mistakes, messing up, having bad days is a part of the journey. It's the part of your spiritual journey. It's a part of your physical journey. It's a part of your emotional journey. It's a part of your mental journey. You need to understand that, right? So when you do want to start living a more spiritual life, whatever religion or faith you are, and you want to start walking with the Creator, walking with God, you need to understand you're not going to do everything right all the time. You are going to have bad days. You are going to have mistakes. You are going to mess up, right? When you do want to start getting fit, eating healthier, right? Putting the right things inside of your body, working out more, you are going to have bad days. You are going to mess up. You are going to make mistakes, right? When you want to learn emotional intelligence and emotional regularity, you want to learn how to navigate your emotions in a more aligned and authentic way, you are going to have bad days. You are going to mess up. You are going to make mistakes, right? And when you want to learn how to shift your perspective, shift your mindset, right? And be better in those areas, right? Fix your attitude. You are going to make mistakes. You are going to have bad days, and you are going to mess up. So you need to understand that before you even start getting involved in these things, because a lot of people go into growth with this idea of perfection. And right there, you're setting yourself up for failure. Perfection equals failure. Progression equals growth. Remember that. Perfection equals failure. Progression equals growth. And with progression, you're going to make mistakes. With progression, you're going to have bad days, but through it all, you're moving forward. With perfection, when you have a bad day, you stay stuck there. With perfection, when you make a mistake, you stay stuck there, right? And so it stunts your growth. So going back to the positive self-talk, learn how to talk to yourself how you would a friend. Learn how to talk to yourself in a way that's uplifting, accountable, taking responsibility, but in a way that makes you feel like, we can work through this, right? This isn't the end of the world, and it is okay. It is okay. It is okay. Stop tripping, right? Stop beating yourself up all the time. Stop trying to shame yourself into growth, right? Stop feeling guilty all the time for the mistakes you've made, and understand it's okay. It is okay. And guess what you have right now in this moment? An opportunity to take the next right step, to make a more aligned decision, right? And let's say you don't. Guess what you have right after that? An opportunity to take the next right step, to make a more aligned decision. You always have an opportunity in this moment if you're alive. Remember that. You always have an opportunity in this moment if you're alive and breathing. Embrace the opportunity. Embrace the opportunity. Ooh, give yourself space to feel. I like this one. Give yourself space to feel. A lot of times when we do make a mistake or we have a tough day or we don't make an aligned decision, sometimes you just got to sit with it. Just feel it out, right? Feel it out. A lot of times when we try to move past these things so fast, we skip over the lesson. We skip over the growth, right? And then we end up falling right back into it. Sometimes you need to sit, right? You make a mistake, just sit there. You have a bad day, just sit there and feel it. See what comes up. Reflect, right? Observe. Observe and navigate it through that first, right? Before you are quick to make any decision or label something or judge it or whatever it is, just sit with it. Sometimes you just need to sit. You made a bad day, just sit, right? You ever see how, here's a prime example, right? You ever just have a really, really tough day and you just need somebody around, right? I don't need you to say anything. I don't need you to do anything. I just need to be in your presence, man, right? That's sometimes what you need to do with yourself. Whenever you have a tough day or maybe you made a mistake or you didn't make an aligned decision, sometimes you just need to sit with yourself and just be there for you. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need to try to navigate anything. Just sit there and be there for you. Sometimes that's what you need in the moment, right? So don't overlook that part of navigating bad days and mistakes and mess ups. Sometimes you just need to sit with yourself, right? Have your back. Be the shoulder that you can lean on for you, right? The next one says, by the way, excuse my drop. It's 10 of them. We're on number 7 right now. Sorry, I haven't been giving you guys the numbers. But the next one says, take small steps to move forward. I love that, right? Take small steps to move forward. Understand that this journey of growth is an accumulation of small steps. When you make a unaligned decision, when you make a mistake, don't try to jump 15 yards down or 15 steps down the road. Understand, all you need to focus on is making the next right step. That's it, right? That's it. A lot of times when we make a mistake, we're like, oh man, we got to get everything fixed right now. Right now we have to do it. Whoa. Well, you can't. Let's just start there. You can't do that. And you're just adding more stress and pressure to yourself. Let's just focus on the one step you have right in front of you right now. And let's take that. And then after we do that, let's take another one, right? And what that's going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to get to that 15-step mark a lot more gracefully and with a lot more growth rather than feeling like it's a rigid chase after this idea that we think will heal where we are now or this picture or this vision. I hope y'all know what I'm saying. But it says, choose one small, achievable step you can take to improve your day or situation. Momentum builds from simple actions that keep you grounded. That's beautiful. Momentum comes from small steps over a long period of time. That's what it comes from, right? So focus on the small steps, right? Focus on the small steps. 8 says, lean on your support system. This is real. Prior to this podcast, I literally had a conversation with one of my friends about navigating bad days and mistakes. I was talking to them about my day yesterday, and that's what that means by reach out to or lean on your support system. Find people in your life that you can have open and honest conversations about when you do make a mistake or you do have a tough day, right? And they can really be there for you in an aligned way, right? We're not here to condemn ourselves or to complain or be negative. No, we're here to grow together, right? So I got to tell you about the times where things didn't go my way. I got to tell you about the times where I didn't make the best decisions, right? Because that's part of the growth too. And I want people in my life where we can hold each other accountable, where we can come together and be open and vulnerable about what we're dealing with, and we can grow together, right? So find people around you that you can do that with, and then lean on them in those moments that you just need an extra hand, right? You just need somebody to help you through it, right? Because navigating it sometimes isn't about you doing it alone. Sometimes it's about learning how to find the right people to navigate it with, right? So lean on your support system if you have that. And if you don't, make sure you have a strong support system within yourself, right? And understand that although we might be through a camera or through a screen, right, you have a support system here. With a Grain of Salt is a community of people who want to grow, who want to be better, who want to live a more aligned and authentic life. Understand you have a support system right here, whether it's in the comments, whether it's in the DMs. I will try my best to get back to everybody. I always do. I try my best. But understand you have a support system right here. This is support. You listening to me and allowing me to navigate my thoughts is you supporting me. Y'all have no idea how much I needed this episode. There was a specific reason why I decided to do this episode, because I literally just went through this. And I needed y'all in this space to be able to navigate that for myself. So I'm leaning on my support system right now. I appreciate y'all. So that's number 8. Number 9, it says revisit your long-term vision. I really like this one. It says remember your bigger picture or personal goals. This helps shift your focus away from the immediate setback and remind you that one bad day doesn't define the journey. That's part of the reflection piece we talked about earlier. Understand that there's a greater vision at play. There's a larger journey at play. This one day, this one decision, this one mistake does not define you or your journey. Don't let it. Do not let it, right? It's just one small page out of a very, very large book. Do not let that one page define the whole book, right? Do not let that one page define the whole book. And a lot of that comes from you being able to self-reflect, take some space, and realign yourself with the vision. Really focus on the goals or the places that you're trying to be or the picture that you have for yourself, and understand that that's a journey. And on that journey of reaching that vision, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to have mess ups. I'm going to have setbacks. But they're all a part of me getting to that larger vision, right? Understand that. I cannot express this enough. There is so much growth in making mistakes. So much growth and lessons in making mistakes, right? Stop viewing them so negatively. We view them so negatively. And I don't know how many of y'all grew up in church, but I did. I grew up in church. I don't currently go to church as much anymore. I'm not a Christian per se. I'm a very spiritual individual. As you guys may know, I do bring up God a lot, and we can get into that in another episode. But, you growing up in church, you hear about this idea of sin and stuff like that, and you feel like every time you make a mistake, God is just mad at you. God is just gonna strike you down with lightning. The whole world is falling apart. Such a negative way to live. You're rooted in fear, you're rooted in guilt, and you're rooted in shame. And let me tell you something. Those 3 emotions are literally the lowest vibrating emotions on the spectrum. And this is science. This is not woo-woo. You can go look it up online, wherever you want to do. There's a spectrum of emotions, right? At the top, authenticity, unconditional love, gratitude. At the bottom, shame, fear, and guilt. So here's also something that you need to keep in mind when you're going on your journey. You need to understand that in order for you to be aligned and be authentic and live out your truth, right? That aligns with the highest vibrating emotions. So authenticity, unconditional love, gratitude, right? Grace, those type of things. Joy, peace. So if you find yourself operating more in the fear and the shame and the guilt, you know that that's not aligned with where you're trying to go, right? Making mistakes is aligned with where you're trying to go, because being perfect it's not going to happen if you want to grow and become better, right? So you have to understand that what is aligned with the vision and the journey of growth is making mistakes, is having bad days. But what happens is a lot of us are rooted in the fear and the shame and the guilt. So when we do have a mistake or we do have a bad day, we view it so negatively, right? So negatively, and we feel like our whole world is coming down and it's attacking us, and we've just completely went in the wrong direction, right? But if you flip that and you're rooted in that unconditional love, you're rooted in that authenticity, you're rooted in that gratitude, you're rooted in the grace, you're rooted in the joy and the positive perspective and the abundance mindset. When you do have a bad day, when you do have a mistake, because you will, you don't view them so negatively. You view them as opportunities for growth, as lessons, right? And when you start viewing those things differently, how you navigate them change. Back to perspective. Like I always say, this podcast is rooted in perspective. It's rooted in authenticity, but it's mainly rooted in perspective. As y'all can see, everything is about taking life with a grain of salt, which means you have to be able to shift your perspective on things. You got to learn how to take things you once did so negatively, shift your perspective on it, and find the positive in it. Perspective. And number 10 says, practice gratitude. Identify at least one thing you're grateful for, even on hard days. Gratitude can help you shift from a place of lack or frustration to one of perspective and positivity. Isn't that crazy? We just said that. That's a pencil dropper. We just said that. right? Practice gratitude, man. Have gratitude for the bad days. Have gratitude for the mistakes. Have gratitude for the times you mess up, because there are opportunities for you to grow, right? Have gratitude for the setbacks. And really mean it, man, because those moments really define you. They really make you who you are. They really do, right? So we have gratitude for them. We have gratitude for them, and we're grateful for them. And at the end of the day, we got to learn how to turn these negative things into opportunities. Opportunities. I keep hitting my beard on this mic, bruh. Opportunities, right? You know that, is it Newton's third law? How it says an object in motion will stay in motion. I don't know what law it is, but that's a fact. An object in motion will stay in motion. A lot of times when we make a mistake or have a bad day, we stay stuck there and we stop our motion, right? If you want to keep moving in the right direction, you need to learn how to take actionable steps and learn from the mistake and move forward. Because when you have that mindset and you have that posture, you would grow through the mistake. You grow through the mess up. You grow through the bad day, rather than feeling like the bad day or the mess up or the mistake is taken away from your growth. It's not. Understand they're all part of growth. But I don't know how long I've been going, but it's not going to be too long of an episode. I kind of really just wanted to come on here and chop it up about that, just because of my previous day, and I just know a lot of people struggle with this, and I just want to give a different perspective on it. I want to give you guys some hope on this situation, right? Just a different, just some peace, right, about it, man. You don't have to be perfect. It's okay. It is okay, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It is okay. It's not the end of the world. You made a mistake. You're a human being. Give yourself some grace, please. Give yourself some grace. Stop trying to get everything right all the time. Understand that this journey is a process, right? And in that process, you're going to experience a multitude of different things. And through it all, it's okay. Learn from it. Grow from it. Grow through it, right? Be open to it. Be open to these experiences. Be open to what the bad day has for you. Be open to what that mistake can teach you, right? But understand it's okay, and give yourself that grace today, right? Make sure you have your shoulder to lean on. Make sure you're there for you, right? And understand that through all of this, remember to take everything with a grain of salt. I will catch you guys next week. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I'm out of here.